homonym with the tears. All right, Nick, go ahead.
I like it. I like it.
Thanks.
Good use of homonym, Jenna. I will give you that.
Thank you.
And there were no tears. Watched the Laker game, looked around, saw LeBron's 4 championships, felt pretty good. But the committee says we're not talking basketball, we're talking football. And the committee would like to make one small announcement. Last week, the committee went out on a limb and said we're breaking the tiers up. 14 playoff teams, 18 non-playoff teams calling our shot. And guess what? The committee's going to go 14 for 14. Show the latest tiers, please. Major upheaval at the bottom. The New York Jets, once upon a time, weren't even on the graphics. Yes. Now they're not even in the bottom spot. Last place, Trevor Lawrence, exclamation point. And then the second to last tier, Justin Fields, question mark. Like, oh, boy. Oh, boy, what are we going to do here? Hey, next year, is it NBA season? We have Celtics, Warriors, Nuggets, the Mavs, all those fan bases just worried about basketball season. One game short. You got to feel for these teams. All these teams at the end of the year are going to be one game short of the playoffs, or in the Eagles' case, a half game short of the playoffs because Doug Peterson went for a tie. All right, now show me what matters, please. Show me the 14 playoff teams. Bottom tier amongst the 14 playoff teams. All of these teams are going home wild card weekend unless they happen to play each other and then one of them has to move on, as might happen with Washington, Tampa. But none of those teams can go on a deep playoff run. Tier above, as far as the QB will take you, what do Kyler, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson all have in common? None of them have a good playoff game on their resume. Lamar's 0 for 2 on chances. Josh Allen's 0 for 1. Kyler's 0 for 0. As far as those teams will go as far as their quarterbacks can take them. Shadow contenders, Seahawks, Rams, Browns. Reminds me of the 2012 Baltimore Ravens. That year, there were more than a half dozen teams that had better records than the Ravens, but they were lurking the whole season, go on a playoff run. That's how the Seahawks, Rams, Browns should feel. Championship weekend, at least here. These 3 teams, if they do not play in the Final Four, it's a massive disappointment for them, and they all feel rightfully so. We should be able to get to the Final 2 to the Super Bowl. Number 1 contender. Nick, is that a graphical error? Why are the Chiefs there twice? Committee discussed this long and hard. Only team that can beat the Chiefs is the Chiefs. The only way the Chiefs are losing if they beat themselves. So the only team that can knock off the Chiefs actually is the Chiefs. So the champs and the number 1 contender, with everyone else playing for second and third place. That's your updated tiers. It's very difficult to argue with any of it. And I would imagine, Brandon, the committee last week, there was some controversy, there were some threats, there were some allegations. This week, and it's glad to have you back with us, this is going to be very quick. You're going to say, you know what? It's like you were in the room with us. No. And so there's nothing there.
No.
What? What's the problem?
How do you start going the wrong way? Last week, you were actually trending in the right direction. Now, there's so many discrepancies in this tiers. Can we throw up those playoff tiers? And I want to focus on the shadow contenders, and I also want to focus on as far as your quarterback. Can we see those tiers right there? Because that's what I want to focus on. How do we have the Rams still as a shadow contender when they just lost to the Jets? The Jets. So that's the first thing we need to adjust. Okay.
Just quickly on the Rams.
Hold on,
quickly
1 second.
On the Rams, Brandon.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say quickly on the Rams because I know you want to go further on other teams. The committee decided to just throw that game out. It was such an aberration. It was so bizarre. They were looking ahead. Just throw it out. Just throwing it out.
So you believe in Jared Goff now?
You believe in Jared? It's like a figure skating score. It's like a figure skating score. Your best and your worst get thrown out. So that game for the Rams, it's out. Yep. Just letting you know.
All right.
Go ahead.
I feel like the Rams will probably go down the tier as far as the quarterback, right? I truly believe that. What's interesting is you have the Cleveland Browns as a shadow contender. Cleveland Browns are hot right now. I saw your takes this week while I've been off the show. Yeah, Baker Mayfield looked good, didn't he, Nick? Played lights out against the New York Giants. But anyways, and when you look at the Buffalo Bills are the hottest team in the NFL outside of the Chiefs. So when you look at it, you keep talking about this Josh Allen kid, this quarterback. When you compare these quarterbacks, the Buffalo Bills quarterback and the Cleveland Browns quarterback, Josh Allen is clearly better. So why do you have such this phobia of Josh Allen? Look at the completion percentage. better than Baker Mayfield. Passing yards, better than Baker Mayfield, obviously. Baker Mayfield had a couple games throwing over 300 yards, more touchdowns, one more interception. But, yeah, of course that's going to happen when you're throwing it more. And then look at the passing rating. Come on. I petitioned the committee to move the Buffalo Bills up to the #1 contender because that is the team that can knock your Kansas City Chiefs off. And it will happen if these teams meet up in the playoffs, Nick.
Okay, so first of all, I love that graphic, and we can put it back up if you guys want, because to me, that graphic proves my point better than anything I could have said, which is on the left-hand side, you have a guy who folks are talking about as an MVP candidate, and on the right-hand side, you have a guy who folks are talking about should he even have his job a month ago, and their numbers, not that different. The only big discrepancy is yards per game, and that's because the Browns just keep running the football. No, a passer rating, no. They're not. The touchdown-interception ratio is almost identical. The passer rating, it's a 5-point difference. So, but to answer your question, if we show the tiers, why the Browns are where they are, for that matter, the Rams are where they are, and the Bills are where they are, it is actually a bit of a compliment to Josh Allen. The Rams and the Browns can beat you. Yes, they can beat you even if their quarterback doesn't play great. Nobody as far as the quarterback tier goes, can win a playoff game without their quarterback playing great. If the Rams were in as far as the quarterback will take you, they'd be off the list because Jared Goff and his tiny hands aren't taking you anywhere. But the rest of the team is awesome. The Browns, I do trust Baker Mayfield. But even if he doesn't have a great game, they can beat you with Myles Garrett, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. For the Cardinals, the Bills, and the Ravens, their quarterback must be great for them to win playoff games. And by the way, I don't trust, I know folks are mad at me still. Oh, Nick, how can you not trust Josh Allen?
So you trust,
because
Nick,
yeah, go ahead.
Quick question. So you trust Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns to be playoff ready, meaning that, let's say Baker Mayfield, he gets into the playoffs and, he only throws for 200 yards. You think him throwing only for 200 yards, they have the pieces around them to continue to win games in the playoff?
I think that if Baker Mayfield doesn't turn the ball over, and he's turned it over one time or thrown one pick since Halloween, the Browns can play with anybody. I think that's how they're built to do it. And the Bills, I just think they are a Josh Allen dependent team. And I know Bills fans are like, that's great. And his overall season numbers look pretty good. But if you look at it game by game, it looks like an EKG chart. It's up and down and up and down and up and down. His highs are super high, and his lows give you a heart attack.
Wow,
that's true. It's true. So Wilds, I can't. The committee can't move up the Bills. Yeah, up and down, up and down, up and down. It's true. Look it up. We'll make the graphic for you.
Oh. Waited all week.
Oh, I forgot.
Good day, Miss Wolf. Good day, Mr. Marshall. Good day, Mr. Wright. I heard Brendan's petition, somewhat informal, so I have brought another petition from the Ravens Claw, not the football team. Actually, I sent a Raven out to my headquarters and have them bring back research in this petition to move the Browns up to at least the same tier as the Titans, who they just beat, for the following reasons contained henceforth herein. Which someone told me on YouTube I'm supposed to say herein instead of henceforth. Herein. Article A. Peaking Baker. For the Baker's last month, quarterback rating, 117. Mr. Mahomes, 102. So if you're wondering if Baker is better than Patrick Mahomes, the answer is yes. And those are just the stats, my friends. Reason number 2, ball security is job security over the last month. This is actually reason 1A, but it's okay. Baker has 1 interception. I know Brandon hated it, but it was only 10 touchdowns. Runs the division title. 3rd best rushing. 152 meters per game. And reason number 3, the X factor, Jarvis Landry. I'm sorry. Excuse me, my character is a little bit flummoxed. Top 10 in receptions and touchdowns this month. Also, by the way, 4 for 4. Great quarterback as well for the following reasons, and really because they literally just beat the Titans. Please move them up a tier, Nicholas. Thank you.
So here's the problem as to why I can't move them above the Titans or even with the Titans. Right now, those teams are incredibly similar, and I think the Titans are a better version of the Browns. I think it's shocking to say this,
They just beat them.
if we are judging Ryan Tannehill based on just what he's done with the Titans, which is a year and a half now, he is a dynamic play-action quarterback who doesn't make a ton of mistakes. That's what Baker has been over the last 5-6 weeks, but Tannehill's done it for a year and a half. The Browns' biggest strength might be their running game. Guess what? Derrick Henry is better than Chubb and Kareem Hunt combined. And Chubb might be the second best running back in the league. Derrick Henry is the best running back since Adrian Peterson. And so you have that, and then it's like, what about the defense? Go ahead, Wilds. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, we don't need to talk about it theoretically. They literally just played and the Browns won.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know why the committee
enough,
doesn't take the real world into it.
It's the same okay, I guess then the Chiefs and the Raiders should be on the same level because they played twice and they split. Both were close. Like, we're not going to do that. We're not just going to say, and I guess Pittsburgh's got to be ahead of Cleveland because they played once and Pittsburgh blew them off the field. If you want to do that, Wilds, there's a rankings for you. It's called standings and head-to-head record. It's very simple. You don't need a committee. But the last thing I was going to say about Browns versus Titans, both of them, their biggest weaknesses is their